Welcome to a new Raj Talk series, Science of Mind, with Rajpal Sahota. In these episodes, we explore real life stories that reveal how our mind shapes what we feel and how we can learn to shape it back. Every story is different, but each one reminds us of the same truth that our thoughts and emotions aren't our enemies. They are signals waiting to be understood. Today's episode is about anxiety, a deeply personal story shared by a friend of mine. There's a strange moment in life when you realize the enemy you have been fighting was never outside you, it was inside, quietly tightening every breath, every thought. This is a story of a man who spent years feeling the heart, only to discover that what terrified him wasn't disease, it was anxiety. He was in his early 50s when it began. Out of nowhere, his body would shake, his heart would race, his blood pressure would surge so high that urgent care became a second home. He had lived with hypertension for years, and his father's heart problems only deepened his fear. So every time he felt a twinge in his chest, he thought, this is it. He would rush to the ER. They would test, monitor, reassure, your heart is fine. But fear doesn't listen to logic. It only listens to what feels real, and fear feels very real. Anxiety isn't all in your head. It's in your bloodstream. It's your nervous system misreading peace as danger. The moment the brain senses threat, real or imagined, the sympathetic nervous system surges, heart rate up, blood pressure up, muscles ready for battle. But when the threat never arrives, the body keeps waiting, trapped in a war that never begins. He was prescribed medication, Ativan, and it helped, but only for a while. Then came a turning point. He decided to study his enemy. He enrolled in a hypnotherapy class in San Diego. 3 days that taught him the art of calming his own mind. Through self-hypnosis, he learned to slow his breathing, lower his blood pressure, and even outsmart panic. It didn't happen overnight, but slowly he began to feel moments of control. Still, something was missing. The attacks kept returning, especially when he was alone or still. One day, while jogging up a nearby mountain, a climb of 1,500 feet, a thought stopped him in his tracks. Why does nothing bad ever happen while I'm exercising? Why only when I am resting, sitting at home, doing nothing? In that instant, something clicked. The switch flipped. The storeroom went quiet. He realized it was never the heart he feared. It was the fear of his heart failing. And once he named that fear, the body stopped reacting to it. That was over a decade ago. He hasn't had a single anxiety attack since. Anxiety often wears the mask of illness. It makes the body tremble, the pulse rise, the mind spiral. So we chase medical tests when what we need is understanding. The truth is simple but profound. Anxiety is not weakness. It's your brain doing its job too well. Once you identify the hidden fear behind it, you stop feeding the circuit that keeps it alive. You stop running from the noise and start listening to its message. He once told me, the day I realized it was anxiety and not my heart was the day I was cured. And that is the irony of healing. The moment you stop feeling the fear, you find peace was always waiting underneath.
If you've lived through anxiety, depression, loss, or any struggle of the mind, and your story might help someone else find hope, you can share it with us. Every story will stay anonymous unless you wish otherwise.